Coming up on today's edition of the Art Business Morning Show. That's right, we're back. We're going to be talking about how you can grow your business in 2021, some high-level business discussion and fundamentals, and the things you simply can't ignore if you want to thrive in 2021. You needed a list to grow your business in 2021. This is it.
Lists are good. Lists are good.
Hold on, you're talking over our intro music. It's been a while. So welcome to another edition of Art Business Mornings. Nick, how you doing? It's been a while.
I'm doing awesome. How are you?
Good. This is the show that will put you on the path to a six-figure a year plus art business. And this is a big episode. I usually say that about every episode, but we are giving them the list based on what we learned from 2020 and what you need to be focusing on 21. And Nick, if you're keen, we'll start on some high-level business stuff, and then we'll get into the tactical.
Yeah, and I just want to say that it's like, what better a time is there for this? It's the new year, right?
Yep.
Recalibrate. You know, 2020 is over.
Get back to basics.
2020. Yeah, whatever happened to your art business in 2020, whether it was good, whether it was bad, right now is the time to reflect, get the best information, data, everything that you can to set yourself up to do significantly better this year. So let's get into it.
Yep. And while I'm ranting a bit, will you get a banner going, let people know if they want to leave comments? They can. We'll answer them live. We like making these things interactive. If you're listening on the podcast after the fact, that won't make sense. But, you know, we get it. We can do some comments. We spice things up. So I want to start at the top with a business model. And, you know, I love this saying, there's not a whole lot you have to get right as long as you don't get this one wrong, right? It's an old investment line of sorts. You know, it's like for the last 20 years, if you put some percentage of your money away in a mutual fund to the S&P 500, guess what? You're going to go up a whole bunch. You don't have to get a whole right. You know, you're not picking stocks. Like, your business is growing. Your business is growing. And the business model defined, and we've been a broken record on this for a great many years, not going to change, is selling direct to your customers, building and consistently growing a list of fans, followers, emails, and potential customers, and marketing consistently all year long. That's really it. That's the business model, and it is critically important. And look, if you have other revenue sources, that is great. That is great. What do you call them, Nick? The gravy?
The gravy.
The gravy. If you've got those other revenue sources, that's fantastic. Continue to work on growing those, but not in lieu of, okay? In addition to the right business model, the business model where you actually have something, you know. And on the art business workshops, 3 times weekly Zoom calls, you can join directly, talk to me, members of my team, get some free consulting. Link in the bio if you want to join those. People are still not even grasping this concept now on a week in and week basis, week in, week out basis. I'm talking to people that are still not getting this concept. And so I feel like we need to be, you know, a broken record on it, right?
Have to.
Yeah, you have to. I mean, I saw one yesterday, and like, the wisdom of this business model is hyper pronounced at the moment. Yes, when the revenue sources, but it's not any less important once we get out of this dumpster fire pandemic.
It was important before the pandemic.
Yes.
It was critical before, you know, but there's so many layers of BS in this industry, in the art and selling art and photography. You decades, even, you know, I call it a millennia old problem, right? 1,000-year-old problem, starving artist problem. Yeah. And it's like, I mean, you and I are faced with it every single day. And it's like, every day you're like, really? Like, people are still thinking this way, and you realize how entrenched it is.
Yes, massively so. And look, you know, we talk about the other models, relying solely on the galleries, right? Retail ones or the online ones, Fine Art America, Etsy, Redbubble, Saatchi, or relying solely on the offline fair and show circuit. You don't set the rules in any of those venues. The rules in any of those other venues can change at any time. You can get the rug ripped right out from underneath you, and there's not a doggone thing you can do about it. And why would you put all of your eggs in this type of a basket? You would never put your entire retirement account into one stock. You don't want to put your entire business future, your entire business model, in something that you do not control. So no matter where you sit, okay, you can fix this. Understand it is the most important thing you can get right in 21 and really the coming decade for the rest of your career. It is just, you have to get this right, okay? You get the right model and you're on the path. You're on the path. That's the model. Next, how to grow a business. Okay, we've mentioned this before, but it bears repeating. And as you see, as we unfold this thing, it'll be critically important. There's only 3 ways to grow a business. Okay, And how do we measure them? 1, you get new customers. Measure that by new sales. 2, you get additional revenue out of the new customer. We measure that by something we call AOV, average order value. You always want to be increasing that number. 3, you get repeat business from existing customers. Okay, those are only 3 ways. And what does everyone always spend the most time on, Nick?
Which one?
Number 1, you know that. Number 1, getting new customers, right? And rightfully so. The getting new customers is the single solitary most important one, especially early on, especially when you're just getting started, especially when you're trying to get traction, even more so, equally so when you're ramping. And then when you get up into the rarefied air, number 2 and number 3 become even more important. But no one focuses on 2 and 3. No one focuses on 2 and 3. We do. We focus a tremendous amount on 2 and 3. And we know that all 3 are hugely important potential levers to help our customers grow their businesses and to grow your business too, right? And, the AOV one is particularly interesting, and we'll just rant on this for a second. 1, you can raise your prices. AOV up right away. 2, a particular pet peeve of ours, if you're only selling one thing, you can start selling more things. If you're only selling originals, start selling commissions. If you don't like prints, start selling prints. If you only sell prints on canvas because you don't like metal, get over yourself. Start selling the metal, right? It's why we just added merch, and we're continuing to add merch. I mean, how many more merch products do we have in the pipeline, by the way?
Oh, man.
Out there.
There's so many have come over the last month that we haven't even updated everybody yet.
Yeah, so don't tell them. Don't tell them. We're not ready. But anyway, AOV. Okay, so we're going to be talking a bunch about this in the coming year. And then the last one, which is the most interesting, which Nick and I have had a chance to observe over the last 5 to 7 years. But in Hat Tip to Weiland, we read it in his book, right? He said he had a line. Weiland's got this book, "Don't Be a Starving Artist" or whatever it is, and he talks about collectors, and he talks about how he has this definition of collectors that buy, I think, what does he say, 7 to 10 pieces from him over the course.
Yeah, an average of 8.
Oh, so an average of 8. And he's talking about how important it is to cultivate these types. And we're starting to see this now because we see customers that have been with us for 4 and 5 and 6 years, and they had people that just buy no matter what. Sometimes the numbers are 15, 20, 25 pieces. And guess what happens? You cultivate a list of these collectors, and the years go by and your prices keep going up. And guess what? They just stick with you, and they just buy, and they get a new house, and they buy again, and then they get a vacation house and they buy again. So it the third level, the get repeat business from existing customers, critically important on the collector thing, which is just a crazy nuance or a unique feature of the art selling business. But also, who is the easiest customer to get?
The one you already have.
The one you already have. The one you already have. And what everyone takes for granted is oh my gosh, selling them a print for $30, $40, or selling them something merch wise for 10 or 15 or 20 or 30. Do you realize that those people, now that you've created a customer, okay, now that you've sold them, yes, maybe your profit margin wasn't so wild on the lower end, mathematically speaking, makes it considerably easier to get a second sale. 4 years from now, they're going to buy a new house, and whose door are they going to come knocking on for that art? So those are the 3 ways to grow a business. We're going to be talking about those all year long. We sort of just teased the next one, which is revenue, right? And the purpose of your business, of any business, is to generate it. And a great way to do that, multiple different revenue sources, different revenue sources. And you can't tell me, Nick, you have not been surprised at the width and breadth of various different revenue sources we've seen throughout our customer base this last year. I mean,
oh, absolutely. I mean, look, it's a really big deal. And we should also say, when you say all of that, right, that if you're an originals only painter and you've been doing really well that way and you're really happy with your business, you keep doing it. You keep doing it. But and if you don't want to offer merchandise or or anything like that, that's fine. But it's our job to talk about what the most successful people that we know are doing, right? Mm-hmm. And they're not just originals only. They're not and I should say that there are people out there that are originals only. There's famous names that are just selling that and they're doing really well. Yes. But you know what that is? It's the odds of success, and of creating a very successful business with just that alone, it's a very, very, very small percentage. And it doesn't matter. It's not a debate point. It's just the truth. I mean, do whatever you want with that information.
Yep. Yeah. Do whatever you want, but understand. how hard it is to get an individual revenue source working, right? And when you do, squeeze it as hard as you can. And then also, you know, the challenge, one of the most important things that you can look at in 2021 is creatively thinking about how you can add additional revenue sources to your business. And we sort of went through the rant earlier. If you're just doing originals, contemplate doing originals and commissions. If you're just doing originals and commissions, start doing prints. If you're doing
limited editions,
prints, right? Limited editions,
expensive limited editions, right?
Merch,
one step below.
Teach classes, rent your children out to walk dogs. I don't care. Add revenue sources. I keep trying to get the girl across the street to walk the dog. I'm up from $5 to 10. She's not buying, which is killing me. Somebody walk the dog. So you can just highlight that comment when you want and get some people doing it. Okay, so adding additional revenue sources. I should also mention too that, you know, this has become critically important for us, right? And what do? We are a do as we say, not as we do organization. We're the opposite of that. Whereas we do it and we say it and follow it, right? Our job is to make it as easy as possible to add as many additional revenue sources for our customers as possible. That's it.
Yep.
That's it. And it's never going to stop. The more revenue sources they have, the more channels they have to market in, the more products they have to sell, the higher level of success they have to grow that business.
And the higher the return on their time marketing themselves.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
It's huge. You know?
You could have a Walmart or you could have a super Walmart. Which one do you want to have?
Yep. And that goes back to average order value, right? Yep. It's like, why does AOV matter? Because if you want the highest return on your time invested in marketing and bringing people to your site and to your business, right? Like you want to have the greatest opportunity to sell them, you know, more of what you provide.
Yep. Don't have the normal Walmart. Have the super.
Yeah. And you know what I want to say too? I really want to say this. Like this has been on my mind. When it comes to like merchandise, the first thing people think of, right, are like cheap mugs and iPhones. And you know, one of the products that we added, I'm going to have to talk about this one, even though we haven't announced it. We added puzzles, right? These are nice. This is not like just a cheesy, cheap item like a mug, you know? And like, there are items that are like, they're not like merch. They're like actually like useful items for, you know, the kids, you know, the families of high net worth individuals. It's not useless, you know? And these things you can sell them for, you know, $100, $200, $300, whatever you want. You could sign, you can do, there's all sorts. Can you imagine? You could even sign the box of these things. You could turn these things into collector's items, Pat. Have a limited edition of 10 puzzles. You sell them each for $1,000, $1,000 each. And look, we could go on forever on this. You could do limited edition merch if you wanted to, right?
Yep.
Like there are ways to really make some nice things. Like the coaster, like think about coasters. What if you release like 5 sets of coasters and you sign the back of each of them, right? And they're like a 5-pack. Yep. Like you might charge $500 for them because the high net worth individual that owns one of your originals, I will guarantee you, he or she would love to have a set of coasters signed by you. You know what I mean? To be able to brag about them. Oh yeah, here they are. And I've got one out of limited edition, 1 out of 5. You know what I mean? 1 out of 5 ever made. There's ways to go with this.
Oh, there's a bunch of ways to go. So another massively important one. So we're gonna be getting into all of these things. And the fun thing about laying this all out in like, you know, a 2021 perspective, the year ahead, whatever you want to call it, snazzy headline, is we're just gonna be revisiting these themes all year long, coming at them different ways because they're that important. Next one, price point diversity. Okay, got to go into my little pen drawing situation. Art Storefront's followers, Nick's followers, my followers, your followers, all the same. They all follow the bell curve. This is reversed, so it's really going to mess me up. But think about a bell curve. Okay, low class, lower middle class, upper middle class, upper class. Right? Everyone's followers follow that curve. Okay, and the low end people, yes, they don't have a lot of money. They're still awesome human beings. They're going to like and comment and share on everything you have, and maybe buy something on the low end, and then you get the middle class that buy various different things, and then you get the high net worth individuals that will just buy the expensive stuff because they love the prestige. If you don't have the price points, okay, to speak to each of those, right? Because what do we see? We see all these people that just sell originals and starting prices at $1,500. I can't afford $1,500. What do you have for me? There's no store. There's nothing for me in the store, Nick. I can't buy anything. And if you want to revisit the earlier point about what is the easiest customer to get, the one that you already have, you have to have some price point diversity in your store. Okay, you have to have it, and I don't care how you get it. Right? You can offer cheap prints, or you can offer smaller originals. Yes, the merch makes it very easy to do that. You could have your really expensive limited editions, and then you can have the lower end items. And not only do you have to have it on the lower end, you have to have it on the higher end too. No one understands this.
Yeah.
Go into your store right now and price something outrageously expensive.
Yeah.
Just do it. I'm talking if your top price point right now is $2,500, I want something in the store for 25 grand. Because guess what? Somebody might buy it. Number one. Number two.
I might go 10. I might go 10.
I go 25. Look.
But it's a great point.
You have to have it in there. Okay.
Yeah.
And not only do you need to have it in there, even if it never sells, what it does to us psychologically is it makes all the rest of the items that we have in the store feel like a better purchase. Okay.
Yeah.
More value to them. Everyone is breaking that rule.
It's called price anchoring.
Price anchoring. Thank you. Psychological scenario. Okay. Yeah. But critical. So the price point diversity.
It's so interesting to think about, right? Like some people might have some originals that took them extra long, or they love them, or whatever, and they've got them on their site. Put them on your site, offer them up there for $10,000, $20,000, and don't worry if they ever sell, right? You're price anchoring, you're setting the tone for the value of what you're doing.
Yes. And it's like, think about the car dealership, right? You know, the car dealership has the cars that are inside the glass house, and then has all the cars that are outside, right? Like, what do the cars cost that are inside the glass house, Nick? Cost a lot of money, right? You know, I mean, the Mercedes dealership is it's the one the closest to my house, but that's the worst analogy. But they have the $275,000 SLR crazy looking thing, right? Number one, somebody's going to buy that thing. Number two, it's just like, oh, hey, I can't get those ones in the glass house, but I feel way better about this more expensive one I'm going to get out here. So it works. Okay, everyone does it. You got to do it. But those are the high level business things that I think, you know, I've just seen happen so many times. But you and I did an episode last week on the look back for 2020, right? And you know, the term we used in there is the perfect storm for art and photography sales. And it bears repeating if you didn't see that episode. Okay. What do I mean, the perfect storm? What was it in 2020? It's the same thing we're in now, right? We are in the most unprecedented times any of us have ever lived through, right? Still in a pandemic. Okay. All offline venues to buy art or photography are instantly closed. By the way, have you seen the news out of Europe, how gnarly they're going into lockdown? Like, it's terrifying again.
Yeah.
So all of the usual venues, okay, this is the perfect storm, to buy art or photography, instantly closed, gone, poof, not coming back, right? Lockdowns, whether forced or not, new norm. Everybody's working from home. E-commerce adoption took 10 years of projected growth and did it in 3 months. People are still fleeing the cities. New home sales explode and still are across the country. Quick aside on that. My wife works for a marketing agency that's based in Los Angeles, okay? They had to close down the office. Now, like 30% of the company went home because they live in Los Angeles. It's really bad in Los Angeles. They went home for Christmas and they ain't coming back. They're not coming back. They're staying in their hometowns, their smaller hometowns here, there, and everywhere else. It's like, I just keep hearing story after story after story. Anyway, big one. New home sales continuing to explode across the country. Okay. Those levels are out of control. As a result, home decor sales across the board, of which art photography play a huge role, are continuing to be through the roof. And the only place left, big picture anyway, you know, anomalies aside, to buy art and photography are online galleries, too much competition, or directly from the artist or photographer, right? So it's that constitutes a perfect storm. What's more is all of the venues that they're going to be buying from you are not going to have the 50-50 split. You're not going to have to pay for booth fees. And you're going to get to keep all of your customer data, right? That's insane. That's amazingly. Collectively, I think that was and is the perfect storm. You have all these reasons why art has been selling better than it ever has before. And e-commerce adoption. And then you have all of the venues to buy it shrinking. That's a perfect storm. Any which way you look at it, like an extraordinary time that has just so happened to benefit the art market. So it continues to be the perfect storm. We're extremely bullish, let's just say, on 2021.
Because 2020 was the best year in history for artists and photographers to sell direct. Full stop, no debate, not even close. It's not even close. If you were selling direct, if you were set up to sell direct to your customers, i.e., direct to market, doing your own marketing, right? Not going through galleries or not relying completely on galleries or art shows. If you were equipped to sell direct, you killed it. And your art was validated, right? You're not just new and you know, didn't have any art that could sell. You killed it. Those are the people who just raked it in. Records broken all over the place from those people, like crazy, right? Sure. And so everything you just explained is only taking that exact scenario that created that and even pouring more gasoline on it for 2021. You know?
Yeah.
And so the same thing is happening again. So it's an incredible scenario for all of you guys who are working right out of your house, starting a business or have already been doing it. And you're like, I'm going to go and I'm going to market directly. I'm going to have my own art gallery website. I'm going to figure out how to do this. I'm going to have my own relationship with my customers and all of that. Like, perfect decision, right on the right track. You know what I mean? Because what else are you going to do? What else are you going to do? But I really want to emphasize though, it's not even about like, what else are you going to do? It's more like the excitement that I know you and I have for the opportunity that is there. Like, it's really there. You know what I mean? Like, if 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, if somebody said to me like, yeah, but it's so hard, you know, in this market, because there's the galleries are taking this and they're doing this. I'm like, yeah, but what are you going to do? You got to figure out a way. You got to get around it and do it on your own. Well, now all of that is aside. It's like the Red Sea parted and it's like, it's right there for you. It is right there for you, you know, and the numbers are there. The numbers are there to prove it. This is not a debate. It's the truth, you know?
It's just the most remarkable set of circumstances.
Oh, it's incredible.
And
we should also, I'll also wrap a bow on that, on everything that you said about the circumstances, right? And just say that regardless of whether you love it or you hate it, okay, there is going to be more stimulus next year, no matter what happens politically, which is only going to exacerbate, you know, spending, housing, and all that stuff. And that's just another bit of fuel on the fire.
Yeah, every single solitary sign points that, you know,
everything
until the status quo changes, which is showing no signs of doing, we're in this. So the perfect storm remains, right? The perfect storm remains, and it's about whether or not you're in the game. Next big one, and this one is so important. This one's so important, but it's perspective. It's perspective on how long it will take. Now, we had a post in our Facebook group. I've not asked permission to read this, so I'm going to keep this. He won't care about the numbers, but I'm not going to use his name because he didn't ask him. But I want to quote this post because, you know, there is a huge contrast between how people in general, but certainly how artists and photographers think their business could and should grow versus how it actually goes. And I think this is an incredible summation of reality for anyone that's really trying to grow a business. And I quote, 2017 was my first year here on ASF. 35 people signed up for my newsletter and 8 people bought something. It was a painfully long, slow beginning, but I stuck with it. I followed the ASF marketing plan as much as I could. I posted to social media daily. I did emails weekly when I could. And this year I added live videos and front yard art shows. My goal for 2021 is to jump in with both feet into the 6-figure club. And so he posted this little spreadsheet. It's got 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020. He's got total visits, new contacts, orders, sales, Facebook followers, Instagram followers, email list. So let's just go over the sales. So first year, $728. Second year, 2018, $5,147. Third year, 2019, $12,531. 2020, $47,069. And then he's got his email stats and his Facebook followers stats. Like I said, I'm not going to read those now.
But he went, the key point there, 3 years to get to, what was it? Was it 15,000? Is that what you said?
12,531.
3 years to get to 12,000 a year. Like in the third year, he got 12,000.
Yes.
And then he went to 47.
Yes.
Yeah. So
then we should preface that too, with a full-time job.
With a full-time job. Exactly. So this was on the side. But what does every artist and photographer think, right? And many of you listening, and this is the part to really sit up in your chair and pay attention, because most people think that year one should have looked like year 3 or year 4.
Yes.
Otherwise, you're a failure. So So I'm about to say his name, so I'm not going to say it. I'm going to follow your lead. But this individual that we're talking about, you know, his first year, he sold $700, right? Like, should, you know, how many people out there have thought about or are thinking about quitting, or that they're a failure because their first year, that's all they did? He started from nothing. Side business begins. You don't know what you're doing. The odds of the first content, this is another important point. The odds of the very first content that you release taking off and working really well is almost zero. It's so close to zero that I might as well even call it zero. You know, all that is a line in the water. It's like you're putting bait out there, right? And it's all it's telling you is what direction to go next. That's all it is.
Yep.
And that's what it was for him. And so what did he do? He learned in that year, and then he got to 4,000, and then he got to 12,000. Each year, you know, he's learning more. Okay, this is the content that's really working better than the first stuff I was doing. Nobody cared about that, you know?
Yep.
And then what happened? We know that he really got onto the right content. That was the big move, the big change in 2020. And that's where he popped to 47,000, you know? But just understand, guys, like the normal way of things, the normal way is it takes 3 to 5 years. That's it. If you're not going into a business with a 3 to 5 year mentality of iterating your way there, you don't even do it. Yeah. Don't even do it. You're fooling yourself. That's not how it works for anyone. The norm is 3 to 5 years in every industry, not just art. Every single business in every industry. It's every business I've ever ran, you've ever ran, Pat, and anybody out there that's ever had success, they will all tell you that. Yes, could you find a unicorn every once in a blue moon? Of course, you know, but they're unicorns for a reason. There's almost none of them, you know, almost none of them. And it's a big lie that's perpetrated out there, you know? And the number one
reason
is this perspective that we're talking about, perspective. Because if you don't have the right information in your head about what it takes, you can really get yourself down. Is it my talent? Is it this? Is it what's wrong with me? Why can't I sell more? Why is that guy selling 100 grand when you hear a story about someone else? You know what I mean? That's not out. It's like, you got to go through your journey, and it's going to be 3 to 5 years.
Yep. Once you start selling online. And honestly, this is the number one reason that artists and photographers fail, because they've been fed some sort of lie that it's really easy and you just start a website and fish jump in the boat and everything else. And it's like, look, there's no shortcut. There's never been a shortcut. If you're looking for one, you're setting your expectations this way. It's a cancer that will take over your entire body and leave you to failure and unhappiness, right? It's honestly, we see it time and time again. But once you have it aligned correctly, are you in a good spot? Are you in a good spot? Because you know it's going to be a grind. Early on, it's going to be a grind. There's no getting away from the grind. You know, I use the example. I have a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old. Okay, things are tough right now. Okay, I mean, and they're slightly easier from where they were a year ago, right? Or 2 years ago. I still got a guy in diapers. I still can't leave unsupervised. But every little bit of time, every little bit further momentum and getting going, things get easier. Things get easier. It's just that early season.
Yeah, so. It's a marathon, not a sprint. That's the key thing, right? And there's a comment on here. Any advice on staying motivated? The best advice that I have for staying motivated during, you know, the hard times of entrepreneurship is think about, if you got to write these things down, that's fine. But like, think about the wins that you've had, the customers that you've made happy, right? With your art, with your products. And remember that, okay? And remember that if your business is moving forward and you're making some people happy and you're doing better than you were doing a year ago or 2 years ago, that is good. You're going in the right direction. You might not be going as fast in the direction that you want, but as long as you're going in the right direction, you're always going to end up in the right spot. That's the thing. People get so impatient and they're like, I'm failing. It's like, but wait a minute. Like, you did 1,000 in sales, and then what'd you do last year? Oh, I did 5,000. It's like, okay, you just took some major steps forward there. Yeah, but it's not 50,000 like that guy, right? And it's like, doesn't matter. Like you're making progress. It's progress compounds. You're learning compounds like compound interest, right? In the same way, it stacks on top, and that's how you get better and better. And so That's really important as you're trying to move forward, and maintain your motivation.
Yeah, and you know, another thing for staying motivated, you got to clip the haters out of your life that are telling you that you're never going to make it. This is just you just don't stand a chance, and you have to get around some people that are going through the same struggle that you are. It seems like this is coming from the Facebook group, so don't worry, you're going to have it. But you know, you have to have some positive motivation to help you along, right?
Yeah, but don't get down on yourself if you are actually going in the right direction. Like if you are going in the right direction, do not get down on yourself. It's really pressure over time.
Yeah, yeah, always. Which dovetails up our next one perfectly, which is, you know, the consistent work on your business marketing all year long. If I could give you one thing, if I could give you one thing only, it would be consistent work on your business, which is really just your marketing all year long. And everyone, I mean, I honestly believe that in 2020, I talked to more artists and photographers than just about anyone out there. I've got to be in the top 1%. You do too. I mean, just sheer number of conversations. And how many times I hear, I tried such and such, I tried such and such, it didn't work. Oh, really? Well, how long did you do it for? And if they're a customer and they're complaining about something, I log into their analytics and I look at their account, and they did it for a week and a half, or they did it for a month and a half, and they throw their hands up and they say, this is just not working, it's not for me. If you don't understand how important the consistency piece is, you're in a bad place. You're just in a bad place. I don't care if it's 1 hour a week that you have to give to the business. I don't care if it's 2, 5, 10. You have to do it 52 weeks in a row. You have to do it consistently. You can move mountains by daily incremental work consistently. It sounds cliche, I get it, but it's the only thing that works. It's the only thing that ever has worked. And it's, you pair the consistency in your marketing, working on growing your business with the perspective, and you're cooking with gas. You're cooking with gas. I mean, there's just no, there's no other way to say it. I mean, I feel like I beat this point nonstop all year long, but I can't stop. I can't stop.
I love to add the little bit of color to it with just saying that, like, it's not just the fact that it's good for your business to do consistent marketing. Like, you have to do it, right? But it's the you know, I'll go back to the compounding, right? It's the learning that you're getting that is making your business actually move faster, even though you haven't seen it in the numbers yet, because you're learning, like, wow, like, now I know why all my last year's social media posts were so terrible, right? I had no idea, but now I know. Now I know, because I'm seeing what's actually really working. Or now I know why that content that I was trying to push on everybody wasn't the right content. Like, no wonder they weren't buying my work, you know? Like, no wonder, like, my emails weren't resonating and all that. This is the stuff that really compounds this knowledge. And the only way you get this knowledge is by doing the consistent work, you know? You've got to do it. You can't shortcut it.
No, there's no shortcut. Okay. So that gets into the high level stuff. Next, we can talk about some trends that I think, you know, it's going to dictate success in 2021. I mean, they're that critical. The first one, covered it in the last episode, covering it again. It is video, by which I mean leveraging video in all facets to market and sell your work represents the single biggest disruption to how art and photography are sold in the last probably 50 years.
Yep.
Step one to understanding all of this is just understand it. Step two is to embrace it completely and start working on it all year long. Sarah, earlier points about consistency and the premise of video. Okay. It's just more efficient and effective than any other communication method that exists. And when I'm talking about both one-to-one and especially at scale one-to-many, okay? And if a task normally takes an hour, it can usually be accomplished 20 minutes with video, you know, comparing the task of doing it via video versus sending emails or having phone calls or any of the rest. If a normal sales cycle for you to sell a piece would be 6 months with traditional marketing methods, you could probably shorten that to a month with video. It's more efficient. It's more effective. It is a catalyst. And, you know, leveraging live video, okay? Whether it's done to consultatively sell on a one-to-one Zoom with somebody or a FaceTime or whatever, or a live art show, or leveraging it in your regular everyday creative marketing, showing live painting, walking to a photo location if you're a photographer, landscape photographer, or something, talking about your process, whatever. Video needs to be leveraged. Okay. It needs to be leveraged in 2021. You need to do thousands of them. Okay. That is literally the bar. If you have done none of them, it's a new year. It's time to start. Here's your resolution. If you've done 10 of them, it's time to do 100. You're on the march to 1,000. Okay. When you use this lens, when you set the bar up there, again, like all these points, dovetail, perspective, consistency, then you're going to set your mind in the right place and you're going to keep going. And is it nerve-wracking at first? Oh, is it nerve-wracking at first? Is it fraught with technical difficulties? Oh, is it fraught with technical difficulties? Okay. Yes, you will likely play to empty rooms with each session, though. You will get better. Okay. And again, we practice what we preach on this one. Look no further to what we're doing right now. I mean, how many hours have I been on video today? And do you think it's for our health? I hate being on video. You don't like it much more than I do. But guess what? Why are we doing it? Because it is that effective. Okay. It is more effective. It is more efficient. It is a catalyst. And I'm not kidding. I am going to have every single Solitary Art Storefronts member do hundreds of them this year. Hundreds. And maybe I won't get anyone to 1,000. Maybe I will. Gretchen put a comment in here earlier. Gretchen's getting to 1,000. Okay. Gretchen's getting to 1,000, but you don't understand how much stuff you have to learn, right? Like, you know, does your heart even elevate a beat anymore, by the way? Now
not
it's
at all.
utter total routine. And let me tell you, you have 75 different technical difficulties ahead of time, and you're just like turning the knobs in the airplane. Yep, the ailerons, okay, yep, flying, done. And it takes a while to get there, and it takes a while to work on your pitch, and it takes a while to work on your merchandising. Next point. But what, you have anything else on video? I mean, talk about something that's fundamentally changed.
It's just, you know, like, it's just remarkable, like, to appreciate what it is, you know. You always say this, and I think it's so important. You know, the best way to sell art traditionally has always been in person.
Yes.
You know, always will be. I mean,
always will be.
In person for any goods is usually the easiest way to get a sale, right? The person can see it, feel it, touch it. You can talk to them, you can sell them, you can build a relationship. The next best thing right behind that is live video. You know, is video in general, but even live video on top of that is where they can interact with you. Is the next, it's the closest thing. And it's such an incredible innovation that has happened to where there is actually something that bridges the gap between, you know, like in-person sales and the cold, you know, faceless, nameless internet transaction on just a web page, which is a big gap, you know, and you get to bridge that gap and most importantly, become your own like retail store yourself, your own art gallery, right? Where instead of being on the main street, you know, in your city or town, you're on Main Street of the internet, you know, and you get to open your store up and talk about your products and show them and all that stuff. And that is unbelievable.
It's going to be, you'll end up hearing about it, you know, the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal and all the rest of those publications will start talking about how video commerce is forever changing the world. And you'll laugh at that because you're going to be a year down the road already. You're already going to have the reps and sets, which are not easy to replace, right? Like learning how to do this, getting comfortable, being comfortable on camera, working on your pitch, all of it takes reps and sets. Zero shortcut, right? The only way you can do it is learning how to do it. It's like kiteboarding or something, right? Like really hard to do. Like no novice jumps on that thing. And like, it's the same thing with this. You know, so it is one of these single solitary most important things that you could be focusing on in 2021. And trust me, you're going to see us doing it. You'll see us doing it and then some. That ain't stopping anytime soon. Once you understand and you've taken the red pill on video, you're ready to talk about merchandising because 2020 is going to be the year of merchandising. 2020 is going to be the decade of merchandising. And you better have your work ready to go as samples. If you're selling merch, you better have samples. You better get comfortable being able to show your work, talk about your work, talk about the differences between the media types. How does it hang on the wall? How does it ship? Is it ready? What are the nuances between one media type and another? What are the differences between the sizes? What does the various different merch things look like? Like selling, if the artists and photographers that are running around out there thinking that you are selling a 2D image and that is sufficient, that you could just post that crap on your Instagram page and it's going to work, you are missing the boat. Okay, no one is buying a 2D image. Okay, no one's buying a screen share, a screensaver, or a cell phone background. They are buying the thing that goes on the wall. They're buying the thing that they can touch in their hand. And if you don't have the capability of being able to show it off, articulate it, talk about it, you are missing the boat. A little hyperbolic on my part, but I mean it. You know how fired up I get
so
fired up about the merchandise.
Yeah, I mean, look, another point that just like drives me nuts, you know, is like, who gave everybody the idea years back to just post an image, you know, like on your website? Here's the 2D static image, right? When the customer is buying a canvas wrapped, gallery wrapped, or a metal print, right, or an acrylic, or with a frame, or without, you know what I mean? Like all these different elements, that is the finished good.
Yes.
That we're after. And it really matters. You know what I mean? It really, really matters. Like people are not there to just like, oh, I'll take that thing on anything. It's like, no, they like the finished good really matters. And if you're not showing it, like you're making a huge mistake. Like it's like the number one mistake in merchandising is like, you got to show people what the actual product is. You have to show them, you know? And so that's the purpose of what you're talking about.
Takes practice too. It's practice, right? Like I still working on all the time. I got my pile down here, but I don't want to go get it. It's the end of the day. The next topic we get into, and you should probably take this one because you got your passion fired up on this one, is the pivot. Okay, is the pivot, and we should probably define it as we're using it. Okay, I mean it's sort of a broad term. It's sort of a broad term. You want to tackle it?
Not really that fired up. Was I fired up earlier today on it?
You were fired up earlier today. Yeah.
I'm always kind of fired up, but yeah, I'm really fired up on this one. I think this is, you know, I really think that this is a big one. I think that this is probably the biggest thing that has gotten in the way of the vast majority of failures that are out there, or people failing right now, or not selling enough, not selling what they want or where they want to get to. Mm-hmm. It's a big deal. So define the pivot for me first. And then I'll rant on this a bit.
Yeah. So I guess you would say the origins are in like the startup community, right? And you know, the business startup, tech startup community, and you would come to market with a business idea, and as a result of coming to the market, you got these learnings, and the learnings told you, actually, Patrick, I don't like that product A that you're selling, but what's that over there? What's that B over there? And because you took it to the market, you realize that people wanted B, they don't want A. And so you pivot away from A to B, right? That's sort of a visual way to think about it. A way to think about it in the art and the photography world is you're creating a subject material. You take the subject material to market. This was what you had a passion to create. This is what you wanted to create. But people are telling you they don't want it. They don't necessarily want it. Or maybe they do want it, but there's a lot of competition in that niche. Or maybe they do want it, but the sales are not mapping to your expectations, what you'd like them to be. And so a pivot is essentially a way to try out new material, a new direction, a new subject material, a new way of taking a photograph, a new a lens combination, right? Like a new brush or a new medium or whatever it might be, a new subject material, and see whether or not you have a hotter product than the original one you do. Okay. And that's the idea of it. And I would say that it is as important for the artist selling $1 million a year as it is for the one selling 500,000. Is it the one selling 50 and 5 and hasn't even sold $5 yet? It is a critical part about understanding new styles, and all the greatest artists of all time have done it, right? And I always use the example, and then you take over, of why am I blanking on his name? It's been a long day. Picasso. Okay, Picasso died with 45,000 pieces. 45,000 pieces were in his inventory that he didn't sell. That his family had to squabble over. And what do you think those were? Those were his pivots, right? He kept doing this and trying his new styles and then taking them to the market and getting the feedback until he arrived at a home run, until he arrived at another home run. And you have to be doing this. And there's so many artists and photographers out there that don't do it. They get bought in on the subject material that they're creating because they're just like, this is my hill to die on. This is what I've created. I'm taking it to market. And they take it to market and they're not getting the reaction that they want. And what do? They instantaneously internalize all of it and they take it as criticism. You think it's speaking to your talent, right? And the fact that you're not good with the lens and that you don't know what you're doing with your camera, or that you are not talented as an artist and you do not have a proper composition or definition in your brushstrokes. And you miss what you're missing is, it's not that they don't like this particular or they don't like you or your style or your talent. It's just they don't like this what you're putting out there. You need to try something different, right?
Exactly.
Take it. You can't internalize it as criticism. You got to try something different. You have to pivot.
Yeah, and I like to think about this like from the lens of a business person, entrepreneur, right? Which will take us completely out of the emotional art side, okay? What you normally do if you're going to start a business with a product, right, is you're going to create a prototype, okay? You're going to create a prototype, and you're going to get it out there to the potential customers that you think this product is going to be a solution for, right? And then you find out what happens. You sell some, maybe, right? And then that's just version 1. Then you come out with version 2, 3, 4, 5. You might do all of that. You might have 30 versions in your first. I've had that before. I've had 30, probably 40 versions. I remember at Breathing Color, when we were coming up with new canvases, we might have had 30 versions before we got to the right one with the right white point and everything that we wanted, on there. And so, when you think about it, Pat, what are most artists and photographers doing? They're going to market with their prototype, their V1 prototype, and then they're going, that's it. What I want you guys to have,
they quit, right?
And it's like, it's not. What I want you to have is a prototype mentality instead. I want you guys to have a prototype mentality where everything you are selling right now is just a prototype. If you can flick that switch in your brain right now, your whole world just changed. You are only selling prototypes right now. Unless you're selling $100,000 or let's say $50,000 or $100,000, right? You are in prototype land. Maybe you haven't done marketing and put the gasoline behind your current content. I'll give you that. But if you have put a proper marketing strategy and plan behind what you have, and your sales are not quite there yet, all you've got is a prototype. But the truth of the matter is, like you said, Pat, the people that we know that are selling the most art, the most successful artists and photographers, they're prototyping at $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 a year in sales. They are prototyping. They were prototyping throughout the whole fourth quarter, taking advantage of the biggest art selling time of the year with prototypes and everything they already have. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? You want to talk about like revenue expansion? One of the biggest ways to expand your revenue is to expand your market size. And the way you expand your market size is by having products that will appeal to a wider audience. If your current content right now appeals to this because you can't get it out there, add a bunch of stuff and make it this. You know what I mean? And so having that prototype mentality just makes you realize, like, wait a minute, I'm going to have version 40. And you know what? You're going to have version 60 and version 500. Because it should never stop getting better, right? It should never stop. Every company that exists is trying to make a better product, right? Over time, right? Even Coca-Cola, you could even go like, what's one of the most static products you ever saw? A Coca-Cola can. But what is Coca-Cola doing? They bought every other beverage company that you could possibly imagine. Because why? The growth eventually every product has its ceiling. They hit it. And they're like, we got to buy Dasani water, Dr. Pepper. I don't know all the brands, but they literally have every single product. Vitamin water. You know what I mean? So whatever prototype you currently have has its own ceiling. And by testing new prototypes, you're going to be able to test the ceilings of all of these. And what's amazing, Pat, for artists and photographers is all of this stuff can be done with at the same time with almost no investment, right? I'm not telling you to go out if you're a photographer and go do like this massive photo shoot. I'm telling you to go take one picture of something you think is highly marketable. You know what I mean? And then go take another one and another one. Of course, you'll probably take a bunch while you're there, but I'm not telling you to just like make this big thing out of it that gives us like 100 hours. It's like, what's the least amount of time that you can take to get a really good shot of something where a market exists? You don't have to create the market. It exists. There's people passionate about that market, and you can get in on it and get prototypes going for all of that. That is what I would recommend.
And we haven't like we've danced around this subject all year. We haven't gone completely all in, on it by any capacity imaginable. But now's the year too, right? Like people need constructive, structured, how to approach it, how to look at it. How do I know I've gotten enough feedback on my work before I try something new? Ways to think about it that literally decouple them from just the emotional aspect of it. And the emotional aspect of it more than anything else, like, you know, for whatever reason, when it's your creation, when it's your baby, right? And you have the artistic brain, photographer or artist, it's very, very hard to internalize this concept, right? Or you're working against like some sort of like a wall that you run into. And we see it time and time and time again. But it's just like anything else, right? It's just a different way of doing things. And when you figure it out, you have this like epiphany moment. And we talk about like there's not a lot of businesses where it's as easy to pivot as art and photography. Like, let me tell you, use Nick's example, ask him how expensive it is to put a new canvas together,
Oh,
or maybe you make knickknacks and you got to go get like an injection molding, or,
what if you have to write a bunch of software for a feature?
oh, don't even get me started.
Like, I mean,
The
you're
startup
talking,
costs are just
it is,
insane.
is there anything easier? I do not think there is anything easier to prototype in than art and photography. And guess what? No one's doing it. No one is focused on it. No one's doing it. And you know what? I'll tell you what, our Art Storefronts members, they will be. And we're going to give them the entire playbook on how to think about it and everything. I think that should be our next session on next Tuesday. I think it probably supersedes the premises talk that we want to have, for that group, just because, getting started on new pivots is so high leverage. It's so high leverage. Like the sooner that you can get started on them and the more that you can get in the water, the better. And so there's a question from somebody in our private Facebook group. It says, how often do you recommend a pivot, change things up? I was told to stick to one identity. What's your take? That's what we are completely disagreeing with. I don't know who told you that or how much money they've made selling art, right? Inputs. Be careful who you listen to. Be careful who you listen to. Because why is everybody that we know that is the most successful pivoting all the time? Prototyping all the time. That's what we know. And those are facts. I can't tell you people that have just stuck to one thing. Like if you said, Nick, you've been in this industry for 20 years. Can you, show me 100 people that have stuck to one thing from day one and just went all in on it and been really successful? I can't do that. I literally cannot do it. It's not possible. It's the exact opposite. So I'm literally saying that the right advice is the exact opposite of that advice. And I want to know who gave it, and how successful they were. And who knows, maybe they were one of those unicorns that's all they did. But you're not going to find many of those. So pivot often because it's a prototype. There's no rule on it, like one a month. It's like, dude, like how quickly can you paint? How quickly can you get things in the water? Pat, if it were you and I together on a business and I was the painter and you were the marketer, you would be literally telling me, wait, Nick, okay, how quick can you paint? Okay, I can make one every 8 hours. All right, how fast do you want to grow this business? I want to grow it really fast, Pat. And you'd say, okay, I'm going to give you a list of 50 different types of content that you're going to paint, and I need them all, and you're going to be like, and I'm going to look at the list, and it's going to be every popular thing that you could possibly come up with. There'll be Trump, Biden, this, that, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Santa Claus, Jesus,
I always use the Green Bay Packers. Yeah.
You would create this list of 50 things or 100, and you'd be like, I want all of those at my disposal. I'm going to get them all in the water, and we're going to just ride whatever rides, and then we're going to go deeper on whatever we find works with Nick, because your particular way of painting and our particular way of, selling it and marketing it and whatever is going to resonate with, in certain niches the most. And we're going to figure out what those are. And the faster we do it, the faster we're going to grow. Am I wrong? Is that exactly what we would do?
No, it definitely is. I mean, look, we're not, you're skating on the thin ice with saying like, well, you can't just, it takes a long time to develop a subject material and an understanding. Yes, of course it does. And we're not poo-pooing that. But the larger point is that like you have a talent to create. Okay. You need to have an audience that is responsive to the work. You can actually flip the entire script on its head. And instead of saying, I just love flowers and I love macro photography. So I'm going to take macro photography of flowers, and that's what I'm going to do. And you can say that's my hill I'm going to die on. Or you can say, let me go find some people that are like diehard, crazy, passionate about flowers. Okay. And so you hit Facebook and you look at every Facebook group for flowers, and you figure out that for some reason, the Phalaenopsis, the white Phalaenopsis orchid group, or just the Phalaenopsis orchid group, has like 60 million followers. And so what do? You are now the new specialist in Phalaenopsis orchid photography, right? And it's, you started with demand, okay, and you worked backwards.
Yes.
You started with demand. You started with this diehard, crazy, lunatic tribe of people, and you worked backwards. And nobody ever does that. No.
Yeah, you don't create the market, right? You find the market that exists, the demand that exists, the passion over a subject matter that exists, and then you fit into it, right? That's the way to think about the pivots.
Yeah.
And Gretchen has a great point on here. She said, many people like pivoting and style are not the same thing. Exactly. Yeah. We're not talking about changing the way that you paint or changing the way that you shoot or anything like that. It's literally just, instead of going from general landscapes, right? Go to something very specific, like a specific famous bridge in your own town that people love, that you understand that they love because you live in that town, and you can get all the angles on it, and you can market it really easily. And you know what? Maybe some of those people are following you because you live in that area, right? So the odds are you might strike a chord there, and that's the way of thinking of it.
Yeah, it's sort of insane to think, and there's some other comments in here you can see, like, to think you have to stick to this one thing, and that's your style, and that's what you've done, and that's the hill you're going to die on. Like, those are not good odds. Those are not good odds. And what famous artist have you, going back hundreds of years, have you not seen pivot to a bunch of different styles, right? Like, history is replete with examples of this being the norm for every successful artist you've ever seen, right? Like, who are the biggest contemporary guys? Like, Damien Hirst goes from dots on a painting to giant sharks and tanks, right? Like, and everything else. And
Salvador Dali, like, I went to an exhibit of his, and it's same thing. It's like, you look at his early work and his later work, completely different.
Stop. Yeah, stop. Somebody's like pounded into your head. It's like a vicious feedback loop. Like, this is what I want to do. This is what creatively inspires me. And then you take it to market. Oh, I'm criticized. I'm not going to do anything anymore. So you got to stop.
You can look at somebody like Weiland, right? Who is all like oceanography. What would you call it? It's like
the whale guy.
Whale art, things like that, right? Yeah. But like, and so when you figure out that you're really there, and you found that niche, and it's amazing, and it can scale, then you can go deep on it. But by that point, you're already at hundreds of thousands of dollars in sales of validation that is the case. Do you know what I mean? You don't look at that and go, oh, the way that I'm going to get there is just, I'm going to pick one thing and I'm going to do exactly what he did. You don't realize that, like, the way that people eventually get to the niche that takes them to such a high level is by prototyping, right? Yep. It's just by trying different stuff and prototyping.
Yep. Huge one. That's and it's one that everyone needs to hear, right? Like,
you're right. I do get fired up on it. I love it. I actually love it. It's part of the reason why you see my energy, because the concept of prototyping and pivoting is so entrepreneurial. You know what I mean? It's like, if you've done it a lot, which I have, and you have, it's like, you get where everybody is at there, and you understand, like, don't sit there and try to force it. Like, how many times have you and I tried to force products on people in like 20 years back? You know what I mean? Like, you get it, and you're like, no, this is going to work. This is going to work.
It's awesome. What do you mean you don't want it? Like, dude,
what do you mean you don't want it? Yeah, you just keep trying. Want it. Yeah, you keep trying to find ways to get people to get it, and eventually, you're banging your head against the wall for so long that you finally allow yourself to pivot, and then all of a sudden, the next like 3 or 6 months of your life are like, all of a sudden you went from going uphill and like pulling a tugboat uphill, and then like, all of a sudden you start going downhill and you go, oh my gosh, what was I doing? What was I doing? The sooner that I can get the information from the market about what's right, about what's really resonating for what I'm trying to provide, like, the better. And like, and then you want to get everything out of your way. You're just like, oh my gosh, like let's get to market as fast as possible. Get me out of the way, right?
Yeah, I heard this analogy on a podcast I was listening to a couple weeks ago, and this guy went to see this professor speak, like lauded professor of psychology, amazingly accomplished, PhD, all the rest of it, multiple best-selling book author, and everything else. And he was sort of talking about his books, and he opened up the session with this huge stack of paper like this, and it's high up like this, and everyone starts like, what is it? Is it his next book? My God, look at how thick that thing is. It's insane. He goes, you know what this is? My stack of rejection letters. No one ever wants to talk about that, do they? That is the stack. It was his real stack of rejection letters for every single Saltrade publisher that said no, 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 no. The different books. No, 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 no. Did he quit writing? No, he didn't. No, 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 no. Like all the way up there, right? Like people aren't told these things.
No, they're not told these things. That's everywhere. It's like, Airbnb just went public, and it's like one of the, like you can read the stories. It's like 36 out of 40 venture capital firms said, no way, we're not touching it. This business is going nowhere. 36 rejections, right? Out of four, and 4 people went after it. I mean, that's how it goes. That's how it goes.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. I think that sums us up.
All right.
That's the list. The Toothlala list in 2021. It
was a fiery one.
Yeah, it was a fiery one. It was good.
It's good to get back at it.
No, it's way good to get back at it. It's a new year for us as anyone else. I got to get our outro music going on. Hold on. It's coming in. We haven't done this in so long. I'm sort of forgetting everything. Thanks for listening, and have a great day. Well, I can't even remember how I used to end it. Thanks for listening, and have a great day.
Thank you, everyone. Good to see you. We'll see you again.